Hey, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Iceman Guru, aka Dr. J, aka Mr. 7 Days a Week, aka Mr. Accountability. Back at you with another installment on the High Frequency Only channel. Subscribe, like, comment, hit the bell, share the video, all that good stuff, man. Without further ado, man, let's get into it, okay? Now, today's topic subject is women and children dislike accountability. Let me repeat that. Women and children dislike accountability. Okay. Now, I've done a video before in the past on accountability, right? I'm self-proclaimed Mr. Accountability, right? I'm all about it. Okay. Now, of course, we speaking in general. The fact that I have to say that, that's the disclaimer. I have to actually say that, okay? That we speaking in generalizations, okay? Now, I had a couple of my kids, have an issue with some of the things that I actually say in my classroom. And I was having a discussion with one of my colleagues, and, we're trying to figure out, what's really going on. And so I was explaining to him, I was like, one of the biggest things in my classroom is I don't do excuses. I hold people accountable for what they do and what they don't do. Okay. So we know anytime that we get on the children for what they do, they always like, but he did this. And I didn't do this because of this. It's always excuses, right? They don't want to be held accountable. Well, you hear some of that same language coming from women's mouth. It's just a little bit different. A lot of time you'll ask a woman, what do you think went wrong in your past relationship? And they immediately go to blaming that man. He did this, he did that. Okay. Kevin Samuel is on the money when he talks about women using sign language. Okay. So women have the need to feel right. They want to guilt men. Okay. They want to insult men. Right. So a lot of time when you hear women, that is what they're doing to knock off the blame for their mistakes and what they do. OK, women and children use this all the time. OK, you can call it gaslighting, whatever. OK, so when I say women and children dislike accountability, the hardest thing it is to do is look at yourself in the mirror and truly be like, you know what? It's my fault. I need to step up. I need to do this, that, and the third. Right? Hardest thing you have to do. Okay. Now, the reason why I don't include men in that is because our society, our civilization was built off of men being accountable to each other. Men being accountable to women and children. So the mafia has a saying, you don't touch women and children. Well, it's a reason for that. Men are being held accountable for their actions and their mistakes. Right? We always do. Okay? We're known as a protector and a provider. We've always been accountable to something or somebody. Right? So it's built-in accountability for us. We know if we don't get the job done, it's something lacking in us. Right? And we got to go to the drawing board. We got to fix things. We look more inward. Women and children look more outward. Okay. Well, this stopped me from doing what I need to do. That out there. Okay. Versus men looking inward to say, you know what, man, I need to step it up. Okay. In particular, how I look at things. I look at it and say, hey, you know what? If I don't get the outcomes or I'm not getting the outcomes that I want, that's on me. I got to work harder. Okay. Women and children don't typically seem to look at it that way. It's always, I had a baby at this age, or, my mama didn't do this, or, this dude did that. Okay. It's always excuses. It's always a lack of accountability. Okay. Which, of course, will hamper you moving forward in order to grow. If you're not willing to take accountability, it's going to be hard for you to grow. Okay. And a lot of time we'll see this when it comes to women and children mentality, right? So how they look at things. Very emotional, right? When they react to things. Women, they love Christmas lights. They love watching the Hallmark Channel. They love sentimentality, right? They love that. But that very connection with their emotion is a positive and a negative thing, right? Because it flows one way or the other. Like when the negative emotions are hitting you, it's like, the world is ending. When the positives, like everything peachy keen, it got to be that balance. I talk about balance on this channel all the time. Okay, so there has to be accountability to lead to growth. Okay, now children naturally develop, and hopefully as their life progresses, that accountability comes. They're maturing through experiences. They get to a level of balance and able to become a more stable human being. Okay. Now, women, on the other hand, right? It's a little bit tougher. Okay. If they're not in a feminine, if they're not willing to take suggestions, if they're not willing to seek therapy, if they're not willing to get a handle on their emotions, right? To be cognitive of it, conscious of their emotions when they going through certain emotions, how to kind of pull themselves down from it and not get too high, not get too low. Okay. All this are things that most people have to work on, right? Because we're not taught in schools. Okay. We don't have professional development out of our job that teach us this. Luckily, I got something coming next year. Okay. We're going to keep that a secret right now, but it's coming, forthcoming. All right. So when it comes to women and children, that lack of accountability, it hurts them in a sense where it's always somebody else's fault instead of looking at yourself first. Because everything happened from inside, then out, versus outside in. All right. We're going to end the video on that note, man. Hey, as always, I'm you are me. Love always, love eternal. And we out this thing, baby. We're going to chuck the deuces.